Join us again for My Isle of Wight, and today we're at something pretty unique. It is a cross of architecture, a workshop, looking at the landscape and building a structure. It's called Studio in the Woods. It's architecturally based, but it's not just for architects. It's about midday now. People are just having their lunch, and luckily the sawmill is quiet at the moment, although the sheep are joining us. So this whole thing really is pretty unique in the UK. There's other things that happen in Canada where people who are fortunate enough to have land say to organisers of events, you can come along, build structures on my land, and leave them there. So that's a lot of what today's about. Over this weekend, it's a 3-day event. It's finishing on Sunday, where a world-famous architect called Ted Cullinan's coming along with the other judges to have a look at what the projects have been built. So it's going to be fascinating. I'm very excited about this one. I love architecture, and the idea of actually practically building this stuff is, I mean, I guess hard to put two better things together. Should be fantastic. We're with Maria from Studio Weave, and hello. She's one of the team leaders, the project leaders. Well, why don't you tell us the thoughts, how you got involved with this process?
Okay, well, Studio in the Woods has been running, I think it's its 6th year now, and for the first time last year they moved to the Isle of Wight, and our good friend Joseph has started to get involved with it, and so he invited us to come along and lead an extra team basically. And then we just said to the students last night, if you want to join our team, you could think about perhaps something that had a specific function, and we gave the example of a place for a couple to go up and resolve their argument, and then they can come back down only when they've sorted that out.
Yeah.
Just as an idea of a really specific function to then follow for the next couple of days.
Okay.
People were talking a lot about the importance of communicating with each other and with the landscape at the same time, perhaps generate some good vibes. So they'll be able to sit there and look over the view. Doesn't it? Yeah.
That when you're looking out over a stunning view, the problems that you might have at the time seem unimportant.
Remember your tiny space in the universe.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, we'll see. We've got loads of wood up there, and I'm sure it's going to change again.
Because that's a really key piece of this, isn't it? It's basically you're starting with a whole load of tree trunks.
Yep.
And you're building a structure at the end of 3 days.
Yeah.
We're with Kev Chatley, and he is the sawmeister. Have you got another name?
Woodmiser.
Woodmiser.
This is the saw is the woodmiser.
Aha.
And I'm a woodman from the New Forest.
And you're intrinsic to the beginning of this, because you're the one that's cutting the piece of wood to the right size.
Yeah, the guys are that are in the field have got designs in their head, and they've got their measurements in their bits of wood in their books, and they're bringing it over here. It's all a bit of a secret thing.
Yeah.
And then they're going.
You've got a view of them all now.
Yeah. And they're going off like little beavers and building their dens and what have you.
Right.
But yeah,
so
but it's
locally
interesting.
Sourced, locally cut.
Yeah. Well, as local as the New Forest.
Yeah. I mean, no, but you're here cutting it here.
Yeah. Everything's done on site.
Yeah.
The guys, as far as I know, when the guys came, there was nothing on paper.
Right.
So
it's just ideas.
they get put into groups.
Yeah.
They get put into groups, and they have a little chinwag, and then they go from there. You know, it's brilliant, brilliant.
So yeah, tent up, and we're going to join the team now and get building. It's amazing. We're now up on site. I mean, hopefully you're getting that view. Absolutely stunning. Shalfleet, Newtown, and then the mainland, or the North Island as it gets called sometimes. Absolutely stunning views. No surprise that the team has picked this spot here. You've got the bundle of wood here, different cuts by the looks of it. They're having a little powwow together over here to decide the next stage of the actual construction, I guess. Now the ideas are done, the wood is cut, it's on to the actual construction. So I will see you tomorrow. Pop back tomorrow, we'll catch up on where we are, and hopefully we're going to have something to look at. So see you later. join us back today on Saturday on a slightly different day. A little bit less sunshine than we had yesterday. It's been an interesting day this morning. Now we're all up here. It's been remarkable actually. Everyone, I think, has probably worked a lot harder and a lot faster than if there was sun around, because there's a keenness to get it done. And the idea behind the structure is to make the most of the view, a window frame, but something to be used for resolving of arguments between couples, which is quite an interesting idea. The idea behind it is you get into the structure as a couple, and you don't leave until you resolve the argument, which is an interesting idea. So there's been a lot of work got done today, and everyone's in high spirits. There's some singing going on. It's been good.
So if I put it flat, then we'll...
So there's going to be a further surge now, where we're going to be putting the cladding on the top. This side is completed already. The big push is for tonight. The hope is to get everything finished tonight. One thing, obviously, we don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but secondarily, we want to have a bit of relaxation tonight and celebration, because the critique is at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, where I think we're going to be coming back with some cameras tomorrow, going around looking. There's 5 sites spread around the site as well. So there's going to be a lot of variety and some excitement going around looking at what other people are doing. So I guess we'll sign off for now and see you tomorrow morning. Well, the hammers are down, so the saws, the nails and the screws have been packed away, and here we are Sunday morning. Everyone looking forward to the crit. I think maybe a little bit delicate. There was some celebrations last night after all the hard work during the day. So yeah, the crit is really going around between each of the projects, and then a discussion about it, what the project was about, the people who they have representatives of the people who were doing the project, who then speak, and then there's a feedback from the judges or the panel that are really advising on the way these things can be. We're with Joseph, who brought Studio in the Woods to the Isle of Wight, and it's the 2nd year now, isn't it?
It's the 2nd year that it's happening on the Isle of Wight, and it's in its 6th year.
Yeah.
And I think this is what's really interesting for me, that architecture revolves around these social events, and that this is like a little festival, and everybody comes together for 2.5 days, 3 days. We're this small society, we're all working together. You said earlier it was extraordinary how little ego was involved in making these things. And I think this is, for me, the most important thing. You know, it's not just about buildings, it's about how they're made and how this is an expression of who we are as a society. And you know, all the compost loos downstairs and the tents and the food, the eating's really important.
Yeah.
And that's all beyond the idea of making something in 2.5 days, having to think on your feet and make interesting structures, solve architectural problems. That's all part of this big society. We're with Matt and Adam, who have built this remarkable toilet section, well, designed the toilets, which are composting, and also with a shower system as well, which gets heated from the compost. But what's the details?
So you have on the back corner this cross detail, which actually gives the building all of its lateral stability.
Pulls the building together.
Before those crosses were done, and we just have one cross brace at the top that then holds the shower head in place. And when you pull the curtain back,
I love that detail.
you can
Store
your stuff
rest
away
into the bench and then have your shower and do it all up. And so I think we were just saying that, I mean, all of the material here comes either from the Corsican pine that we used for the festival this year, and then all of this is just kind of thick-walled garden hose, and all of the hardware just came out of the back of a very friendly local plumber who came out here and did all the bending and connecting for us.
Put a couple of
twists, very basic
Stop
B&Q stuff. Yeah, some
Brilliant.
Jubilee clips, and that's it.
Brilliant. Well, great work. Thank you. I bet you're proud of it. You should be.
It's good. Yeah, we're looking forward. We're just about to cut them down. So if you cut the ropes at the top, they'll just drop like curtains, and then all of the timber should stack up in a volume which is about the same size as the compost pile. So we're going to have a cube of timber which will sit here and dry over the season, and the compost become compost over the season, and then next year there'll be some timber to use and some compost for the garden.
Brilliant. Well done. Thanks for that.
Thanks.
Cheers. Here we are at the end of Studio in the Woods. 3 days of thinking, planning, constructing. One thing that really struck me, that really impressed me, was the lack of ego in the team. You would imagine that when 10 people are getting together probably with quite strong feelings about the way something should happen, particularly architects whose roles generally are, it sounds too strong, but dictation. You know, they're the ones that decide how things are going to work. And everyone listened to what the other people were saying, and ideas were put forward and changed and adapted, and people weren't precious about it. It's pretty impressive. So all over, what do I think about Studio in the Woods? It's been good and challenging. Challenging not just because of the weather and having to work throughout that, but also thinking that we don't get a chance to construct stuff much these days, or we don't take the chance. And actually having the ability to have a piece of wood there and a saw and actually just get on to do it because you need to do it. And you can do it. It's really easy to do. So there's sort of this idea of having to rely on other people to do these things for us. It evaporated for me as well. So if it does stay, and there's a question whether it's going to be on the island next year, let's hope it does, because if it is on the island again, you should definitely come along. It's been a great experience.